Hey there guys, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
And we are back with another episode of the Overflow. We're sorry we weren't here last week. Hatman was feeling a bit under the weather. And
Still feeling a bit under the weather, but...
Yeah, and sadly next week there will not be an episode of the Overflow because I will be on vacation and having to deal with other stuff that has come up today. So that's fun. But regardless, we wanted to come back here and answer your questions in regards to politics and entertainment. Not a lot in regards to politics. In fact, some of it's just e-drama. So we'll go ahead and get to that for the start. So, the Autism Whisperer wants to know, thoughts on Thunderfoot mocking JF, Jean-Francois Garepi, for the leaked court documents recently that he had leaked. Does it make him a hypocrite for taking a moral stance against Sargon for laughing at jokes regarding the skeptic feminist incident?
I don't know a thing about this, so...
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I don't think it makes him a hypocrite because his big thing was that a life was lost when it came to the skeptic feminist thing. And I can understand the frustration there because there are some people, including myself, that believe in an idea of allowing the grave or allowing the dead to be buried before you start either making a ton of coarse jokes about it or something along those lines. Unless, of course, the person who was killed is like a super detestable Hitler-esque piece of crap. You know, like Saddam Hussein. I don't care if his body's cold. I made jokes. Like jokes about him getting hung. So it's one of those things where, you know, there is a respect for the dead that is necessary. And I can understand why Thunderfoot was upset. I thought he went a little overboard, but that's just me. With the JF thing, nobody died in this scenario, but it is screwed up that, just in general, that this sort of stuff was leaked. With that said, what was in those documents, because Scrump Monkey and Short Fatter Taco did a video going over him, and, you know, Scrump's a buddy of mine. In fact, Scrump, if you're watching this, we need to get together sometime, dude. But anyway, Scrump's a good dude. So, SFO, from what I can tell, seems to be a really good guy. I haven't met Devin at all. I'd like to. He's one of many people that I'd like to meet online that I just haven't had the chance to meet. But regardless, when it comes right down to it, the documents and what they contained, I did, you know, listen to that video of Dumping with Scrump. I now have zero desire to interact with JF, but I think that most people out there know that, and Hatman can attest to this, is I vet everybody who comes onto the show or I even discuss with. And I want to make sure that, like, these are people I want to be associated with. And JF kind of struck me as a bit of an oddball. And his video, when he had the Distributist on, who Distributist used to be like a really genuine guy, and what would have been an interesting intellectual discussion on philosophy between the two of them ended up being JF trying to get a bunch of gotchas on, you know, somebody who is as well educated, or I believe is almost as well educated as JF is. So I think to myself, when two educated individuals do that, one does that to another, I say to myself, there's an ulterior motive, or there's a personality problem, and that kind of confirmed that for me. So I'm just kind of saddened by the fact that it's gone to that direction. JF sounds like a complicated guy who really should be focusing on work IRL and things IRL than going onto the internet and stoking fires. I think he's got enough personal problems he needs to be dealing with. But that's just me. You know, I don't wish him any ill will, but that's really all I can say about it. Now, thoughts on InfoWars being more than one more strike away from being banned from YouTube?
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either, because they're an easy target.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows my opinions on Alex Jones. He's a meme. He is a walking meme. And some things that he... like, if he is a performance artist, there's some lines that he has crossed in regards to his work that I would never cross, even as a parody of, like, a conservative mind. I don't think he is. I think that he's just a Looney Tune. That he's just a really weird guy. Who's very passionate and just very weird. So, the thing is that when it comes to conservative media, if Alex Jones loses his YouTube channel, or InfoWars in general, and associated channels like Paul Joseph Watson's, which I think is sitting at like 500,000 subscribers. And I don't have a high opinion of Paul Joseph Watson either. But then again, like, I could probably meet these people and that would change. But I don't know anything about them personally. I only know their ideas. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry. Point being is, YouTube is banking, from my observation, that InfoWars, if they go under, will not be defended by conservatives at large. And I think they're wrong. I think that, because they're banking on the bigger voices. The thought leaders, like Ben Shapiro, or Charles C.W. Cook, or, people who are at the National Review, like Leonard French, or, people at Fox News, and things like that, aren't gonna support them. I think, like Greg Gutfield, or Tucker Carlson, I think that just about anybody would be pretty ticked off that InfoWars got censored, because they are an internet darling. Because of how hilarious Alex Jones can be. I mean, we used him as a meme in the podcast. Like, I even think he's funny. But, yeah, it's... I think that it's a bad gamble on their part to have done that. I think that they're doing it basically just to censor conservatives. Paul Joseph Watson was actually quoted in Breitbart today because he thinks that leftist channels right now can't compete with the internet audience for those clicks. And I think that's very true.
Conservative YouTube channels, honestly, are the 2000s equivalent of what conservative talk radio was in the late 80s, early 90s. Actually, late 80s and all the 90s.
Yeah.
Your left-wing network just could not compete. And now it's like people at least are more aware that your mainstream outlets are leaning left. I mean, when MTV is shelling out like all the social justice darlings for their YouTube channel, you're very well aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you've got like independent channels like, well, I'm pretty sure, we've just named a few of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're blowing up. Of course they're taking off. Of course they're getting millions of subscribers and a lot more interaction than the mainstream and left-leaning ones are.
Yeah.
And InfoWars is definitely an easy target, just like you said. It's a meme. And on top of that, it's one of those that most people would say, well, no real loss if it goes under. Because largely, I think, because of the Sandy Hook thing and Pizzagate.
Yeah.
Because they were pushing those theories. I think people more likely than not are going to be like, well, there's no real loss there. They probably deserved it.
Yeah.
Not really looking into the details of the situation.
Exactly. Not to mention, my problem with YouTube in general these days is they don't understand that outrage is a cottage industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, look, unless somebody is calling for somebody's head, like calling for violence, or like is legitimately saying go harangue someone on Twitter, or something like that, or call their house and threaten them, or something along those lines, unless that is happening, you should let it go. Let it go, let people talk, because the more clicks and the more drama goes along, that's more ad revenue for YouTube. It's about more ad revenue for the creators, too. You just have to set certain guidelines. And the problem with YouTube is that, Susan Wojcicki has no clue what she's doing, and her and her staff just will not set proper... Well, they won't set proper guidelines at all.
No. She's more interested in the business aspect of it. She's not interested in the fact that YouTube was meant to be a creator's platform first and foremost. She's interested in turning it into like a brand new evolved TV network. That's why we keep seeing like late night talk show clips and like clips from major news networks and bullshit like that constantly be pushed on the platform. Like, I think I've mentioned it in a previous episode of the podcast or the Overflow or something. You go through the trending videos list on YouTube, and more than half of them are going to be content that you would find on television.
Yeah, basically.
That's nonsense. That's not for YouTube.
And if you get on trending just through the algorithm, you'll get curated off of it. I mean, people have told me that my video on comic books, the one that basically made this channel what it is, should have been on curation with as big as it got as quickly as it did.
Mm-hmm.
And it never did. Sargon got on trending before and then was pretty quickly removed. But yeah, they curate that basically to try to appease these major networks, despite the fact that this YouTube and this platform is part of the reason as to why the TV medium is dying.
Yep.
But then again, I think a lot of it has to do with party politics and things like that, and we've already done that several times. So I'd like to go on to the next question. So, but that's our thoughts. What is our opinion of Tucker Carlson? We've talked Tucker Carlson before. So I would recommend going back to that's from Eclectic 1995. There's an episode called Tucker Carlson Face. We give all of our thoughts on Tucker there.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, that was it for politics, because Brainbox's internet sadly shorted on him. So, and he was working with a migraine too. So Brainbox, we appreciate everything you do, man. I understand that moderating this channel is not the easiest thing in the world, but you are awesome. In fact, all of our mods are awesome. Both Brainbox and Thesk and Crusader Saracen, they're all very good at what they do. Very supportive of the channel too, so we love you guys to death. It's been awesome also letting them into the Discord server and getting to know these guys a bit better too. So yeah, we love them to death. That's part of the reason that I try to encourage more people to become patrons, even if it's just $1, is so you can hang out with us and we can get to know you better. But we'll have to see what happens in the future. Okay.
I swear, I'm there occasionally.
Yes. All right. CT117, for the entertainment side, CT117 has 3 questions for us. Do we get the feeling that there are hive-minded attitudes of telling people what movies you should and shouldn't be a fan of, like with Black Panther? Yes.
Yes.
And it's on both sides.
Yes, absolutely.
There were people who were getting pissed at me because I was giving Black Panther a fair shot because of some of the things that the actors have said that are silly. Like Chadwick Boseman said recently that he thought that he was playing the bad guy in Black Panther. No, you didn't. Come on. Now you're just jerking people off. Come on, Chadwick. You're smarter than that. But I think that because people on Chadwick Boseman's side, the left, are praising Killmonger, he feels the need to do that. No, Black Panther was not the bad guy in that film at all.
No, not by any means.
He didn't give in to Killmonger's demands after he killed him either.
Mm-hmm.
He felt sympathy for his enemy. He offered to heal him. And it didn't happen. And instead what he did was really coming more towards the center than black radicalism. He says, we're going to get more involved in the world. We're going to start doing outreach and things like that.
Yeah. But we're not going to, militarize every black person in the world for a uprising.
Yeah, and here's what I think is kind of interesting. It's like, name me one conservative. Conservative, not like alt-righter. Conservative. If T'Challa existed, would be against him doing community outreach in a place like Oakland. Name one. I can't think of one.
I can't either.
So, I thought that it was a sensible middle ground. But yeah, there are people these days that believe that if social justice warriors push something, then you need to just be opposed to it, carte blanche. And I have a problem with that. People did it with Wolfenstein 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just because people, you know, people were freaking out about, you know, the lady who came across like she was a member of the Black Panthers, and the Marxist,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to, you know, B.J. Blazkowicz being more like just a red-blooded American, you know,
Yep.
that they just freaked out about it. I'm like, let the game be its own thing. You know, like, assuming that a bunch of Swedish dudes who made The Darkness and Assault on Butcher Bay are gonna just pump leftist talking points down your throat is not necessarily the thing. I think that was to use a joking term, a psyop, but a push by alt-right people on the internet to get people angry about it, and people fell for it. Because a lot of people that I saw on like Kotaku in Action and like rabble-rousing about it were alt-righters. And I'm like, you guys got duped. It's actually a really fun game. So, yeah. Like it's happening. Battle lines have been drawn in the culture war. And what upsets me about it is that people who are getting affected by this on both sides don't deserve to be necessarily affected by it unless something truly blatant goes on. Because it's like the people from the studio when Vice with Wolfenstein 2 with Vice News, when they were asked, so this is about Trump, they said, no, this is about Nazis. If they thought Trump was a Nazi, they would have said yes.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see that ramped up by several times with Far Cry 5.
Oh, most likely.
I mean,
even though it's about a cult, not an actual religious community.
Yeah, but we already saw articles like from the reveal trailer. You know, Far Cry 5 is going to deal with what it's like living in Trump's America, and yeah, it's only going to get worse now.
Yeah,
you know, it's only going to get worse.
Despite the fact that we had cult issues before that. Think Waco.
Yes.
Which that's what this seems to be inspired by, is Waco. Yeah. And different like backwoods sort of things like that. So it'll be interesting to play, and it could end up being this leftist nightmare. I don't know.
It could. It's possible.
Yeah,
we don't know yet because the game's not out yet.
Exactly. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. What are our thoughts on Zootopia?
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I don't really think that it takes like a political stance aside from don't be a prejudicial douchebag.
Yeah, basically, like I've heard it argued as, you know, an anti-racism movie, and that really, you know, makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a particular, you know, side, at least as far as which race is bad. It's just racism is bad. Prejudice is bad.
Basically.
Okay, well, that's a pretty straight message. And I think any reasonable person would get behind that.
Yeah. What I find weird about it is, like, people are getting, like, upset about anti-racism messages, even though they've been in video games and movies, like, year by year.
I don't understand that.
I would think that it's an accepted part of the culture to say racism is bad.
Yes.
Now, when you start getting into, like, institutional racism or things like that, then it's a different story. But just having a blanket idea of racism is bad does not mean it's a leftist message.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind who disassembled. Wait, real quick. Who disassembled Jim Crow? Republicans, the right. Mm-hmm. Who disassembled slavery? Republicans, the right. So, yeah, keep that in mind. It's a bipartisan thing.
Anyone would say racism is bad, unless, of course, you're actually taking the left's definition of racism is prejudice plus power. Basically, you know, you can't be racist against majority group people or white people ever. That nonsense.
Yeah, which is patently ridiculous.
That's not the definition of racism. That's the perversion of racism.
Yeah, it's a redefinition of the term.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do we still enjoy Rogue One despite The Last Jedi, and is it still better than The Last Jedi? Yes and yes. Or at least for me.
Eh?
I'm
still meh about Rogue One, honestly. I watched it again somewhat recently, at least after The Last Jedi. I'm just still meh about it. Like, it's all right. it's just not my cup of tea. I certainly don't think it's the best Star Wars movie since Empire Strikes Back. Absolutely not. It's just, I don't really know. It just, for me, it's just a bit too different, not quite up to my tastes, and probably controversial, but I think I like The Last Jedi more than Rogue One. Even though I have not seen The Last Jedi since opening night, still, so now I'll have to watch it again when I get it on Blu-ray, because of course I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm going to get it. But just on the single viewing from The Last Jedi, I still think I liked it more, even though I'm still not sure how I felt about Last Jedi.
I'm different. For me, like I said, it's yes and yes. I like Rogue One a lot more than The Last Jedi. Like, since seeing The Last Jedi, my thoughts haven't soured as much as they've just been like, if the social justice-y stuff was removed from this film, it would be a lot better. And yeah. I don't have those feelings about Rogue One. I don't have those feelings about The Force Awakens either. You know, it's like, that's one thing that kind of gets me, is like, I ask myself, rather, should I really recommend something to someone if I think that it would be better if you removed an entire section of the film? So, that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm.
Now, granted, we both said see it at a matinee, but yeah. Rogue One was, I thought, was a lot better, just because it was such a tighter story and was so much more enjoyable. It didn't have like moments in the theater where I was sitting there going, "Ugh, can this be over now? Like, can we skip to the next scene?" Like you're searching for your remote even though you have no power of fast forwarding the film. Like, whenever there's that kind of a moment, you know, that sort of thing just kind of bothers me. I was the same way with Thor Ragnarok too. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, those are our thoughts on that, though. But, like, here's the thing. Never let one bad movie ruin a franchise for you, because it's not like the other stuff went anywhere. The only time I really think that it ruins a franchise is if it's the last film and it's really bad. See Mass Effect 3. That's a game, but still. It's sort of like Predators. Predators has kind of left a sour taste in my mouth on the franchise because of how much I hated it. Ugh, Red Super Predators. God, that's such a stupid idea.
Oh my God.
Alright. Eclectic 1995 wants to ask us in regards to entertainment. And we partially answered this last time. Would we like to see a direct TV series or film based on Warhammer 40k? We said TV series.
Yeah, film would not work. That'd be broken.
Too much stuff, too much lore to pack into a couple of hours. That needs a TV series. Not to mention, you can have different factions and give them time to develop and give you the background of these. You know, like, the only way I think you could really do a Warhammer movie is have a similar plot to the Space Marine video game, where you've got orcs, they go, "Whoa!" and there's these big dudes in power armor that kill them, and like A, B, and C, and then like there's like little nods to the lore. But I don't think that would be a really good movie, because that's basically what they did with the Ultramarines film, and it really wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. Except instead of orcs, it was chaos. So you've got all these dudes who are like, "Ya Ya Cthulhu Fatang," or "All Hail Slanesh," and they're bad guys, and you kill the thing, and etc. So, yeah, it would be better as a series. I think it would be much more successful if it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Autist Whisperer wants to know, thoughts on Konami charging extra for extra save slots in Metal Gear Survive? Bad idea.
It's a typical Konami thing.
Yeah. Not a big fan of that. I hear that Survive is a lot better than a lot of people were anticipating, but people just don't like the fact that it's a Metal Gear zombie game.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any... Now, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I did see something show up on my Twitter feed that was apparently a Easter egg. There was also a slap in the face to Konami. It was like a list of all the mother-based personnel that they were going through. And it's like the first letter of the last half of their code names in like one section read out KJP forever.
Konami Japan forever? Or, well, it could be taken as Kojima Productions as well.
Kojima Productions forever, yes.
Could be either or.
I don't think it'd be Konami Japan. Because if they put Kojima anything in there, it'd be...
Everybody's fired.
Yeah.
This is Japan we're talking about.
Yeah.
We gotta wipe out the state cleaner! Yeah. Thoughts on Kingdom Come Deliverance, and is the reaction from journos an indicator that they are out of touch? I haven't played Kingdom... Yeah, we haven't played it, so we can't say anything about the game itself. I've spoken to Daniel Vavra before. He's a great guy.
Yes, I have too. He's wonderful. I have no interest in playing it, to be perfectly honest, but
same here.
I'm not gonna shit talk the game.
If somebody bought it for me, I would play it. But right now, I just don't. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. But you know, I'm not gonna fault anyone else for wanting to play it. As far as game journos shitting on it, we know why.
Yeah,
we know why.
Because no black people.
No, it's because he was.
Well, yeah, he was a pro Gamergate guy.
Yeah, that's exactly why. This is their way of essentially blackballing him. And of course, if they want to find something to harp on about, they're going to do it. I mean, this is raising hell over nothing, just because this guy was a Gamergater. And what the fuck do we expect? I mean, they said they wanted to blacklist people in the industry, so it's no fucking wonder. I'm just glad that it's crossed, 1 million in sales now?
Oh, definitely. And people playing it, it's like in 300,000 in number.
Yeah.
It's stayed pretty steady.
Yeah, so it is by all means a successful game. A very successful launch. Despite the fact that, you know, all these fucking outlets either wouldn't cover it or gave it outright negative coverage. Outside of a review, mind you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, and here's the thing: it's sad to see this. You know, it's like Jeff Gertzman even said that Giant Bomb wasn't going to cover it at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that it's also showing that I'm not going to say games journalism is irrelevant. Its relevance has gone down, but it's not irrelevant. People still read those websites for news, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. That's what drives traffic is news when it comes to games journalism. I know from experience. However, think pieces aren't what they used to be. And on top of that, one thing we have to keep in mind is that word of mouth, because of the internet, because this is the information age, is that much more, valuable. So if your customers are happy, that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Alright, Ancestor Empire, for our last question, wants to know, who wins in our version of Death Battle? Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, or Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders?
Micah, I'm leaving that one to you.
If Kenshiro touches him, he's dead. That's really about it. That's like, Omae wa mo shinderu. That's basically it. He touches you, you die. Unless you know something about his martial arts style, about Hokuto no Ken. You have to know how it works. So, like, yeah, that's kind of a... The only people that... I can't think of anybody who's been, like, just naturally resistant to those martial arts techniques that Kenshiro uses in Fist of the North Star, unless somebody knows more than I do, which is possible, because I've only really watched like the 2-hour OVA movie where he gets his ass kicked by Rao at the end. Yeah, that's really all
I
I can
wouldn't
say.
know.
Yeah, it is a fun series though. Fist of the North Star, super violent but fun nonetheless. Well,
All right.
that's the last question.
Wow. Quick and dirty. Okay.
Yeah. Well, folks, we do appreciate you guys tuning in once again to the Overflow. Thank you for being patient with us lately. I'll admit I've been kind of burnt out just on everything lately, and I'm not going to try to guilt trip anything. I just want to get this off my chest. Financially right now I'm kind of hurting, and I'm trying to get things in order, and having to sell off things just to make this new car work, and I'm basically talking to the dealership about returning it possibly, because it's just kind of an embarrassing situation that I got myself into, all because I was under duress. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm going to take a week off with my vacation and rest up and try to get stuff figured out, and then hopefully come back much stronger. So yeah, that's really all I have to say on that. Hatman, do you have any final words?
Yeah, just pay attention to the channel. I'll see if I can't get something set up as far as like a quick Q&A. I'll shoot for Wednesday, but I can't guarantee anything yet. I do have a new job. It is a 9 to 6 job, actually. So, yeah, and I'll have to commute as well. So just be aware of that. If I do a Q&A thing, it'll probably be later in the evening for Eastern time, of course. But yeah, just keep eyes peeled to the channel, and of course on Twitter too. Micah's is at Mind of Micah C. I am at the Hat 2, number 2. Yeah, stay tuned to that, and we'll let you know what's happening when it's happening.
Yep. In the meantime, guys, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hat Man.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.